Hi, this is Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Thursday evening, February 11th, 2021. I'm going to talk about the Disquiet Junto, particularly this week's project, 0476 IAH Forecast. And then I'm going to play you my contribution, which is a track called Westheimer, which is out here on SoundCloud. First of all, what is Disquiet? Disquiet, Disquiet.com. Mark Wiedenbaum founded the website Disquiet.com in 1996 at the intersection of sound, art, and technology, and since 2012 has moderated the Disquiet Junto, an active online community of weekly music and sonic projects. And then there's a big FAQ out here. There's been 476. I have participated in over 100 of them, probably 110, 115, something like that. And I also have published some of these pieces outside of the Junto out onto the streaming services, and they're out there without their context, and we'll get into that. But essentially, what is it? It's a group in which the Disquiet Junto is a group in which musicians respond to weekly fast turnaround assignments to compose, record, and share new music. The idea is to use constraints as a springboard for creativity. This has been going on since 2012. And what's a Junto? Yeah, the word comes from a society that Benjamin Franklin formed in Philadelphia in the early 1700s as a structured form of mutual improvement. I believe it was called the Leather Apron Club, and that's kind of fascinating. And it doesn't necessarily have to be electronic music or ambient music, but if you want to go and participate in the projects, read everything, kind of follow along, and then once you post your music, then you're encouraged to go out to the site out here at I can't even I.co or whatever. Just follow the link, and you can post a link out there, and you can listen to other people's music, constructively talk in a nice way, and be a nice person, right? And listen to other people's music, and like, comment, all that sort of stuff. So what is it with this week's project? It's a 476 IAH Forecast, and this was a photo shot in Houston, Texas by Robert Boyd, and it's used with his permission. I'm going to bring over a little bit larger version of it right here, so we can just let's just focus on this here. So the point of this is, with this project, is this is the cover of your next single. Now record your single. And the great thing I love about this particular Junto is, if you have never contributed to the Junto before, you've never done a Junto before, or maybe you've done it a long time, this is a really easy one to dip your toe into. Because if you're a musician, all you got to do is look at that photo, and you're just like, what sort of music am I going to create in my style, however I want to do it? It doesn't even have to. It could be music. It could be processed recordings or something like that. Come up with something. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be music. It could be an orchestra of field recordings or something like that. However you want to do it. There's no rules. There's really no constraints on this one here, because you're just supposed to look at the photo and try to. And there's nothing right and there's nothing wrong with this here. So. That's kind of how it works. And so I recorded my single this afternoon after I was done with the day job. And then what I do is I host it out on SoundCloud. Some people host it on YouTube. Some people host it on Bandcamp. They all host it different ways. We all started off hosting everything on SoundCloud, but then SoundCloud kind of changed some things with their code base and took away some of the fun, excellent, neato features that it had in the beginning, which is like so much of tech these days, right? But I still use them. I just don't pay for it. So anyway, and then after you post your track, there's other stuff that you're encouraged to do, and posting additional information there, trying to get other people involved with the Junto. So anyway, 476. Yeah, there's the photo. And what was my track? My track was called Westheimer. It's about a minute and a half long. Mine are usually not that long. I used to do kind of longer pieces early on, and then I realized people probably don't even listen that long. And if I can get my uh, the thing that I need to say done in 60 to 90 seconds, usually under 2 minutes, that's pretty good. And then it also doesn't eat away. It doesn't eat away at the free time that I've got. I'm on my second account here with the SoundCloud as far as the Junto. So anyway, let me just read this to you a little bit here. This is sort of my take on this. I lived in Houston for 9 months in 1997. I lived and worked on Westheimer Road. I worked near River Oaks at a tech startup, and my wife worked somewhat nearby on Greenway Plaza, which is what is now Invesco. Back then, it was AIM Funds. It was a mutual fund company. And what I say here, the food in Houston at the restaurants is excellent. One time, Dusty Hill from ZZ Top was behind us in line at a barbecue joint and ordered a quart of jambalaya. Although he said it, I want a quart of jambalaya. And he was dressed exactly how he is on stage. It was amazing. It was weird. I said here, I thought it was the perfect Texas moment. Although a close second was going out with Ann's coworkers to somebody's horse farm in the country, and one of her coworkers rode a horse backwards very fast. But what I mean is that he rode the horse. The horse was going forwards, but he was backwards on the horse. I don't think he was even on a saddle. He's a country boy, you know. Nice people, man. They all took us out. We all went out and got food after. I don't even know where it was. Somewhere west of town, south of town, something like that. That's still good memories on that. A lot of good memories of Houston. You know, I remember going out to the Alabama Ice House, which wasn't too far away, which was just essentially like a shack where they served beer and drinks and stuff like that, maybe some popcorn, and then they had like picnic tables. That's where you had your beers. Very old school, you know, very old school. And yeah. Lived there for 9 months or whatever. And then the tech just to kind of, and I got a job back in Iowa, and there you go from there. Anyway, I was looking at the photo here, and I was like, there should be more cars on the road than whatever is here. I remember the traffic was crazy. It took us like a half an hour to get to work, and we only lived like 3 or 4 miles away from work. It's just driving down Westheimer, and you had railroad crossings. You had to go past the Galleria, rainstorms, and it was crazy. And the air was often smelled of gas, the result of being close to oil refineries. That's the thing my wife really noticed. She's like, it smells like gas down here, right? Like gasoline, natural gas, or whatever. She should know. She lived in a town with where they make Cocoa Puffs or whatever. So town always smelled weird. It smelled like breakfast cereal or worse. Although when I was growing up, we had meat packing plants on the east side of Des Moines. So if the wind came from the wrong way, oh, buddy, not good. Not good. Somehow I remember that. Right. So anyway, this track I'm going to play for you here is a combination of several pieces of mine. I publish under a lot of different names. One of them is Aleodiology. And so a few tracks from Aleodiology, and then a few tracks from my sideband Vibrating Wires, which is sort of a processed lap steel guitar. And some field recordings of Rain. Kind of mix that all into. There was like sort of a mix, not a live mix, but it's sort of a structured mix in there, and that's the piece. So now I'm going to play it. Now I'm going to shut up, and play the music. So this is Westheimer, Disquiet 0476, and this is my contribution for. While I'm playing this, I'm going to move the photo over here, so you just. Well, then, yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll move the photo over here. So let's start this here. I'm going to shut up, hit the mute, and then hit play. All right, we're gonna stop that there and get me back in. It's kind of a rough transition there, but anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get the feel here for just that sort of that foggy, rainy sort of feel, and I can't even begin to convey the amount of humidity that is typically going on there in Houston. It's pretty humid. It's not that much different than Iowa in the worst of the summer, except that it goes on for months and months and months in Houston, which I probably should have stayed there over winter. I probably would have never moved back to Iowa if that was the case. Oh, I don't have to deal with snow. Snow, I have to deal with a half inch of snow every several years. Sign me up, right? So anyway, so yeah, I published the track out on SoundCloud here, and so I've got ambient Rushton. I've got another account as well too, and I put the information in here. And SoundCloud is a very interesting platform. I'm really surprised they're still in business. I know they have lost money for a long time, and they changed a lot of aspects about the application that made me go. I was a pro customer for a few years. I paid the pro amount, which I think was like $11 or $12 a month. It was like $135 a year, and I would publish works in progress out there and some of my own tracks. And people really thought that was going to be the future of music discovery and everything like that. And that, for some people, I guess it has been, but kind of after they got kind of quirky or whatever, and I downgraded from pro to just the free accounts, and I took everything off except my Junto stuff. So I still use it. If I use this account up, I will create a third free account. I know I'm bad, but it's just like that. To get any space on there, you have to pay them a bunch of money. What's the try the pro here? How much is trying pro? Yeah, $12 a month. Unlimited. It's like, well, yeah, I could just put that on Bandcamp, or I could put that on YouTube or something like that, and get paid for your plays. Pro unlimited. Wasn't SoundCloud gonna start like a streaming service? I don't think that ever really happened. Or if it did, it went back, or they didn't. I don't know what went on there. But yeah, I just use SoundCloud for the Junto, and I don't even look at the numbers on there. Let's take a look at some of my past tracks here. Um, yeah, there's Boxes, Off the Hook, which I released as a Cannabis Unanimous single. Teach by the Lake, which was released as a Rushton single. Southwestern Desert, which was released as a Vibrating Wires track. Vivid Dreams. Oh, this is just, yeah, okay. What was that song I heard on hold? Uh, Yeah, and then the application always does these weird things. If you play music, then it plays something else afterwards. It does a lot of things that just kind of. So yeah, I don't invest in it too much. What can I say? Uh, yeah, I make way too much electronic music. This account is solely for my contributions to the Disquiet Junto. Follow me at Spotify. Let's go over to Spotify for a second, and I'll show you what is going on with that. So I released a couple of compilation albums of my pieces over the years. And what I have to do with the Junto is sometimes the Junto, it'll have pieces that are like samples and stuff like that, like Creative Commons for certain licenses or certain artists have you remix, things like that. And so I don't ever release the tracks that have the samples in them. I don't think I have done that. I've been trying to take great care. If I release anything, it's something that is entirely of my own creation with my own stuff in it. Or if it has any loops in it, it's royalty free loops. So first volume one here came out in 2015, 27 songs. They vary in size. And then I've also got volume 2, which came out at the same time. And Pro Marijuana Preston. Some of this stuff's real neat here. And I've got volume 3 coming out here real soon. It's going to be released probably by the summer, I think. I'll have enough tracks for that. And just because a lot of the things that I've made in the recent year or two, I just tend to release under my own name or under different names. So it becomes a little difficult to coordinate their inclusion here in the Junto. So, it's like, I made this, I can release this separately. And sometimes what I do is I will make a piece for the Junto, and then I will make a much longer piece that I will release either under my name or the name of another one of my bands, right? So that's another thing that I do. So that stuff's out there. It doesn't really get a lot of listens on here, although yeah, it's all pretty, it's real. And of course, when you don't have the context of what the project was, when I put these up here, when I released these, I tried to put the Disquiet number in there, and the distributor was like, you can't put whatever in between the parens. And I'm just like, why? Well, you can do it if it's like instrumental or remix or featuring. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So there's that. Anyway, let's go back to this here. Yeah, if you're a musician and you want something to do this weekend, if you're around my parts, it's going to be super ridiculously cold again, and chance of snow Friday night. Just what we don't need. Maybe it might be time to turn off the TV and quit looking at the internet news and go and break out your whatever device and record and make something for this. It doesn't even have to be 90 seconds. It could be 30 seconds. It could be 60 seconds. Just to get that creativity out there. It's, again, a springboard. For me, it has what do I like to say? It has caused me to go in. The things I have done for the Disquiet Junto have caused me to move in different directions. And then also it has caused me to, release stuff, get comfortable with releasing things that are done quickly, or they are of themselves. I don't know how to put that. It's just, here's my little piece, like you look here on Junto Volume 2, 33 seconds, 54 seconds. It's just a little interlude, a little piece. It has its own thing. It has a history out there. And so you could look up those tracks, and then you can go out to the Junto, if you want to do a big deep dive on all that sort of stuff. So anyway, but I think this is a good one here. 476, just looking at the photo, making something. It's a good way to dip your toe into the water, and if you haven't made something in a while, this is a great way to spend a little time and rejuvenate those creative juices, right? So anyway, that is it for today. And Thursday, February 11th, 2021. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.